What's up, former party people? This is Jerry, the one who actually combs his hair on the A is for Alcoholic podcast. Now, if you're finding value in listening to the AIFA podcast every week and you want to support sharing it with others, we invite you to become a sustaining monthly or per show contributor. Go to patreon.com/AIFA. It's super easy and it only takes a quick moment. It's about as easy as buying one of those pre-cooked space chickens from the grocery store, taking it outside, giving it a big old kiss, and kicking it into traffic. Why would you do that? Anyway, you do you, and I'll do me. Again, go to patreon.com/AIFA. And with that, people, let's start the show.
A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism, one letter at a time. Welcome back.
Boom.
It's another beautiful Monday evening. We're recording our podcast.
Something. Our Joe Rogan Experience fan podcast.
God, what would that be like?
DMT.
Lots of DMT. And,
Lots of DMT. Lots of weird jock philosophy.
but would it be just
Tiny bit of right-wing ideology. A lot of UFOs.
a lot of UFOs?
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think of the storming the Area 51? Do you know about this?
Yeah, I know about it, but I don't think it's a real thing.
No.
I think it's just silly. It's Coney 2012, dude. It's just people being like
Crazy.
it's a joke. It's like when they all voted for potato salad on that fucking GoFundMe page and the guy got like $100,000 or something.
For potato salad?
Yeah, he's like, help me make potato salad. This was like back in 2010, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember what year it was. I was drinking. I was like, damn, why did I think of this potato salad thing? I'd be flushing Evan Williams right now.
This is awesome. So, yep. Okay. I just wanted to just checking my mic there for a second. So welcome back to the A's for Alcoholic. This has nothing to do with UFOs.
Or Joe Rogan.
Or Joe Rogan.
It's just a joke. Yeah.
At all. And that's fine. I mean, good for him and good for the UFOs.
Yeah, that'll work.
So first, I want to quickly, for those of you who don't know, go through our sponsors, the people that help put this show together, whether directly or indirectly. Green Camel Press, which we just did a Green Camel Press field trip out today and went on a big old hike of Taylor Mountain, which is out here in the Northern California. I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like the Serengeti of Northern California, like the rolling hills, and it was really great. But greencamelpress.com, we do artwork. We have t-shirts for sale. We have greeting cards for sale. We do all kinds of cool digital doodles. And what is a digital doodle? Well, say you want to get something nice for your wife, your lady, your mom, your dad, I don't know. So you send us the information and we draw it up for you. Like you're like, yeah, my dad's name is Tim and he likes to mow the lawn and his favorite color is brown and he's got a dog named Chucky.
This sounds like you're reading off a copy. Do you got copy there?
No,
you got ad copy?
I'm just making this up. And then we do a time-lapse drawing of your dad named Tim. His favorite color is blue, and we get the picture of Chucky. You can send it to him for Father's Day or his birthday, or Christmas is around the corner. So yeah, go check it out. greencamelpress.com. I also want to tell you about a couple other podcasts that we produce here. One is called Rashida and John, where I talk with my girlfriend about relationships and health and wellness and all that good shit. We just did our last one and we talked about God, which
whoa,
I know,
okay,
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a trip. But it's not just God, not like, hey, who's your God and what's my God and maybe but spirituality and stuff like that. And it's such a
No, I gotta listen to that one now because I'm like, whoa,
I think
you
you
blew
should.
my mind.
I think you should, man. I thought it was really cool. And the thing like that, kind of like what I do with you, that you and I do, that her and I, we don't really, we have a topic and we have, some idea, but we don't have a, we never have an outline, Jerry. You and I just sit here and we talk, right? And that's
Right.
I mean, that's my favorite part, is that if I had an outline and I had some sort of script to follow, I don't think it would be as much. I don't fun. I don't
No,
think it would be as
it
fulfilling.
wouldn't be a stream of consciousness. So now I got to listen to the God one. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, please. I would love to know what you think too.
Yeah.
So that one's called Rashida and John, and then my other one that our friend Walter, who does not listen to this podcast, I know that for a fact, but well, maybe he does. He might, but
He might,
I don't.
yeah.
I highly doubt it. But if you're listening,
No.
Walter, hello.
Hi. Hi, Wawa.
We do a podcast called Gluten is Not Your Problem, and that was based off of a comment he made. We were getting ice cream cones one summer, like 2 summers ago, and I said, "Oh, look, Walter, they got gluten-free ice cream cones," and I was kind of ribbing him, because he's kind of a curmudgeon. He's like, "Gluten is not your problem, John." Like,
Yeah.
and so we talk a lot of different food stuff, and he's got like 20 years in the culinary world, and but he also, I really want to nail him down on his time travel theories as well.
Right.
But which he still thinks, he's like, that just makes Jerry angry. I don't know if I want to talk about that. And I'm like, I don't think it makes him angry anymore.
I don't. Well, tell him I don't really listen either. Walter doesn't. He doesn't. There's not enough true crime in Walter's podcast. I need some more true crime. It's just he's always complaining about how like a cheeseburger is not a hamburger or something. I'm like, where's the fucking body in the field? I don't give a fuck about your cheeseburger theory.
I'm gonna
I
send
love
you. I'm gonna send you the link to the one about the great train mystery that we talked about, and it's about his mother's cousin who was up for murder of his wife. They found his wife dead, and he was a suspect
so there
in
is
the murder.
a true crime one.
So
All right, bring it over. Bring it over.
I'll send you the link. So it's called The
Right.
Great Train Mystery, and it's actually really fascinating, because you're like, what does your toy train as a child have to do with the murder suspect cousin of your mother from Alaska, and how did he get to be in Oregon while he was on trial? Like, it was this whole thing. I mean, this is like the 70s or the 80s, right? So he was in a small town in Alaska, and the judge was afraid that he was going to get like lynched, and so they said, go live with your family in Oregon. So there's this whole thing about
All right,
it.
send me that one. So I have to rescind I have to take that back. I guess there is some true crime amongst the hamburger and cheeseburger debate.
So yeah, there's a lot of varied. There's a little bit of something for everyone, I think.
Right.
For most people. So if you go check out any of those things, I do believe that you will find something that you like. I also wanted to say that we had another patron on Patreon join us. Sally was very nice enough to join the club, and so she gets access to all of our podcasts not a week early, but a few days early, and the other movie reviews and stuff that we do, and it was super cool. She was really sweet, and she loves the idea of your Sky Bear.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
thanks, Sally. Word up,
she thought
Sally.
that was really good. So,
yeah,
that's
he's out there.
For those of you who don't know, how would you describe the Sky Bear or the?
It's my higher power. It's just the Sky Bear, dude.
Yeah.
It's just a bear that doesn't necessarily live in the sky, but it's a bear. Mm-hmm. It's a bear covered in honey, eating garbage. Fucking kill your ass in the woods. That's a power greater than me. It eats garbage. It eats garbage, and it will kill me.
Speaking of powers, animal powers, there's I found this new Instagram feed called Nature is Metal.
Yeah, I have Nature is Metal, dude. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Some of it is amazing.
Found it off of Reddit. Yeah.
It's intense. Yeah. I saw a rattlesnake today. I didn't get bit by it or anything.
You just saw it?
I just saw it.
Was it dead?
No, it wasn't. It was alive, and it was a Mojave rattlesnake. And it was sliding across the trail. And I didn't see its head, but it was crawling back into the grass. Did they slither back into the grass? And I just heard it, and I saw the little tail go.
Did you have that primal fucking fear in you? Did you get that primal panic?
I knew as soon as
Did your monkey brain freak out?
As soon as I saw it on the trail, I knew it was a snake because it wasn't brown or green. It was black and white stripes, and I was like, And I just stopped, and I was gonna just like. Because I'd already seen it, and it was like, I don't know, a few yards ahead of me, and I stopped the guy, that I was hiking with, and I said, "Whoa, snake!" and I just kind of let it go. And I kind of, as
Threw-
it was moving and we walked around it, and I got a quick like little bit of video of it.
Threw a rock at it.
No, absolutely not. And he says to me, he goes, "It's okay if they're like stretched out, right? Because they can only strike if they're coiled up." So
Yes.
so that was good to know, because I was
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get bit by a snake ever.
No. I mean, they taught us that in Arizona in like kindergarten.
Right.
Right.
Have you ever
Snake awareness.
have you ever been near or gotten bit by any
I've never been bit. I've been near rattlesnakes. I've heard them.
scorpions?
I've seen them. I've never been bit by a scorpion, but everybody else in my family has. Pretty much. My mom has multiple times, so does my sister. My brother hasn't. My dad had a wasp fly into his ear and get stuck in there once, but that's just normal shit. That's not Arizona shit. They had to drown it with oil, and it kept stinging him in his eardrum. Poor guy, man.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it is kind of funny, right? He was up on the roof, like, fixing tile, because they had Spanish tile on the roof of the old house, and I guess a wasp or some stinging bug flew in his ear and just decided to stay, and he was just, like, fucked, man. I felt so bad for him.
That's awful.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I've seen my fair share of tarantulas and centipedes, the big red desert centipedes. They're just, you know, I'm using my fingers, but they can be up to a foot long. That shit's all a mess, dude. I don't know. It's Arizona.
It's a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
So three things today I wanted to, the letter today is F. And
Right.
And before I go, if any listeners has any, if you guys have any suggestions for what we should talk about, we're always open. I have my own little way of the way that we go about figuring out what we're going to talk about each week, but I'm always open to suggestions and crowdsourcing that kind of stuff. If there's
we want to be interactive. Let's be interactive.
if there's something that we're not picking up, or something you're like, hey, how come you guys have never talked about this? Then please let us know. F is for frustrated, forlorn, and fucking A.
Fart suck.
Fart suck.
Yeah.
So, full disclosure, the intro that you heard is not part of the same show because we had some technical difficulties, and so we decided to record it, and then we just had some more technical difficulties from a different angle. So, welcome to A is for Alcoholic. I'm frustrated. We've been here before. We've done this before. In fact, we just did this a couple minutes ago. But I want to talk about, again, frustration. I think the best thing that we can do is to power through it and just continue forth and be done with feeling bad about it, and just, rather than wallow in my frustration, to do something about it, right?
Right.
So let's
just do it again.
So we'll just do it again.
Let's just do it again.
So,
So you said F is for 44.
So I said F is for 44. Jerry turned 44 years old today. Or
It was an
last...
uneventful birthday.
Not today, but last week.
August 9th. Yeah, last week. 9th. No, that was only just a few days ago. Yeah, last week. Yeah. I guess, yeah, literally, yeah. Yeah. And it was uneventful. And we were talking about the differences, the comparative differences between how I appreciate it now to be uneventful, whereas the other ones were very eventful. And I had to make apologies. Or fucking try to find all the money I spent. Or all those other things. Make everybody unsee my penis or whatever horrible thing I did.
I think that's the big thing, is like the apologies and all the things. And so you think also when you're drunk, when I would be drunk and it would be my birthday, I would think I could get away with even more. I would be taking my shirt off anyway.
Yeah, dude. And the idea that it's a special day, right? So you have to celebrate like even harder than you normally do. Because today's special, Today's special, we're all celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it just ended up being fucking tore up. But, this year it was just the past few years have been really uneventful and just really mellow. It's just kind of this day of, I'm not even going to bullshit and say it's a day of quiet reflection or anything like that. It is literally like, today's my day. I'm going to eat ribs. I'm going to eat cake. I'm not going to tattoo today. I ended up tattooing anyway, but that's because I made the appointment by mistake.
Oops.
But nah, it's all right. I mean, what else am I gonna do though? You know, like I can play video games all day, but I usually do that one day out of the week. I don't play as much as I used to. I do it like one day out of the week. I'll play games all day, and that's about. Even now, it's starting to get boring. But quite generally, it's just to hang out with the wife and the kid, man, and just be like, appreciate me. I'm the reason we're all here.
Did you stay within your calorie count on your birthday?
No, well, I haven't. You know what, man? I not to get into this. Fuck it, we'll get into it. But I haven't really been lately because I gained. This is awful. I shouldn't be putting those as a stupid recovery podcast, but I mean, it's not. The podcast is stupid. I mean, what I'm saying is stupid because I gained 3 pounds, right? And to me, that's a big deal. Like, I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I'm getting out of my discipline. Which kind of reverberates itself sometimes in my recovery. Although the recovery is either a give or take. It's either all or nothing in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Because to me, if I have one drink, then I'm done. You know, then I'm just going to, I know I'm going to start up again. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no moderation there. Whereas staying within my ideal numbers and trying to eat healthy and exercise and everything. And I do exercise 5 days a week, but if I get out of that calorie count too many times a week, I'll gain weight, you know? And so I'm like, damn, 3 pounds. And so like, I've been feeling kind of bad about it. So I lowered my calorie count to try to lose about half a pound, but yeah, I'm still hitting like the same number I was hitting before, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's, I'm glad you said something. I mean, not that it matters or not that it's important to me or anything like that, but
well, it's more in the brackets of recovery. You know,
right.
Like, let's talk about my diet.
I just think that there's some analogies there. You know, when you talk about, I mean, of course, I love the idea. You know, your father was talking about you want to see some real strength, you want to see some real, you know, pain. Recovery is go to like Overeaters Anonymous because
that's a motherfucker, dude.
Can you
right?
you know because you have to eat to live and right. You know, I love the analogy of like, imagine if you're an alcoholic and you're in recovery but you have to drink only 3 shots of tequila every single day.
That's it. That's all you get, bitch. Yeah, exactly.
But you have to.
Awful.
Like, that's awful.
Yeah, that's awful. You need it to live.
So I mean, because I just think about it all the time too now, and like you said, it's a discipline. So it's great that you can kind of see your discipline slacking because if my recovery is slacking, if I'm not pushing hard on my recovery, it doesn't instantly mean, oh no, I'm going to have a drink, but it also doesn't make me the happiest person in the world.
Right.
So if the discipline in your calorie count or something, you're like, oh man, well, no, I got to tighten it back up. You know, and make sure that my program, whatever your program is, for whatever it is.
It's a great way of putting it, my program, right? Because I refer to it as my diet, which then I'll use this like emasculating term, like my diet, which shouldn't matter because we all have a diet. We all eat something. But, you know, the other idea behind it, too, is that I look at it, I approach it a lot of the same way as I approach my recovery because my recovery, I look back on how I used to be and I say, I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to get back to where I was back then. And now I look at myself living my previous lifestyle as far as the way I ate and the way my body looked and the way I felt physically. And I always tell my wife, I don't want to go back there again because I went so far and I'm finally here where I'm comfortable physically and like healthy and can do things I couldn't do before. And so I really try really hard to not slide back into where I was before. But maintenance and losing weight are 2 different things because you're just maintaining now. You're just living life. This is what you do to stay alive. Where when you're losing, you have an achievable goal. You know what I mean? And you're trying to get to that goal. And once you hit the goal, you're like, oh, I just got to eat this specific way every day. And you can switch it up. It's just eating. It's all snacking for me. That's what it always kills me with. You know what I mean? Like, and then she does open houses and brings home these like Costco cookies or little apple fritters or strudels or whatever. And I'm not going to fuck with that. Like, I'm just going to cut half a strudel and eat the motherfucker, you know? No, I'll eat the whole strudel and count it and then be like, well, I guess I'm having ice for dinner, you know? But I think it can relate to recovery. It really can because it is a program you follow. You're trying to make a change in your life to better your life. The way you were living previously has been detrimental to your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do it with alcohol. You can do it with cocaine. You can do it with gambling. You can do it with fucking porn. You can do it with anything. That's why I've always taken umbrage with people who say, oh, well, sexual addiction's not a thing, or this thing's not a thing, or that thing's not a thing. And I'm like, absolutely, any repetitive behavior that is making your life unmanageable is an addiction.
Instagram.
You know what I mean? Instagram, dude, social media, like people think it's not because why? It's not physically addictive. Like, how about all those people in hospitals that they fill full of Percocet, and that percentage of people that come out of the hospital and they're not addicted to Percocet. They're physically addicted, they wean themselves off, and then they go about their life doing whatever thing they're doing, you know? And then there's that percentage that has the mental addiction, and that's just the same as any other. It doesn't have to be a physical substance. You know, it can be a repetitive pattern of behavior, you know?
So that's 44, struggling with strudels.
Struggling with strudels, dog, right? I measured out a half a cup of Rocky Road ice cream. That's what I was eating when we started. I measured out my little half a cup, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm fine. Like, I feel great. I didn't have to eat all that Rocky Road ice cream. Like, I didn't have to eat, like, a fucking full bowl. I could just have a cup and be all right. Whereas I know you can't fuck with ice cream because you're like, ooh. You, like, rub it on your gums.
Yeah, exactly, right. Exactly. You know, I think the last time I had some was... I tried this one that was like sugar free, and it was like dairy free, and it was it was made with like bananas and turmeric and like ginger or something, and it was all right. But to be quite honest, it didn't hit the like ice cream center of my brain. You know what I mean? Right. The same way that like anybody who's ever quit drinking for a while and then had a drink, like I've talked about it in the past where I took that straw taste, like it was very early on in recovery, like maybe 2 months. And I was at a bar and somebody slid a drink and they were like, "Hey, taste this strawberry basil whiskey thing that I made." And I instantly dipped in. I wasn't going to any meetings or anything, by the way. I was just kind of doing it by myself. And
you were raw dogging
I was lone wolfing and raw dogging, and I took the straw taste.
Knuckling. Yeah.
And instantly just got all flushed and like weird, and I just felt like this rush. And I remember I had to drive, and I remember thinking like, I don't know if I'm okay to drive because I had like one, which now seems a little. I mean, it may sound a little excessive, I guess, but at the time I was terrified. I felt like, oh my God, what does this mean? Do I have to start all over? And I was like, no, I don't have to start over. So yeah, I just, anybody who's ever like quit something and then gotten a taste for it, and then you're like, ooh, that's something in there, you know, like it just hit I didn't hit the ice cream center of my brain. And so I just don't mess with it. I think about it a lot, but I know that if I bring a pint home, I'll fucking eat the whole thing. So
exactly, right? Because it's that repetitive pattern of behavior, man.
As long as we're being honest with each other and the rest of the world here. So I was frustrated, and I was like, I got to eat something, and then we can hit record again, and we can record another podcast. And I was like, there's no, because I'm leaving town tomorrow, right? And I'm like, fuck, there's no like fruit. I want something sweet. Like I'm so like tense, and I want to like stress eat something sweet. And I was like, I got this old banana, and I was like, I'll throw the old banana and some ice and some fucking almond milk and coconut water and some cocoa powder, and I made like this chocolate milkshake kind of thing. So it's still like, that's only like 100 and.
Yeah, it's not very many calories. The banana's 100, almond milk's like 30.
30 and 30, and the cocoa's like 20, and I was like, oh, a little maple syrup, that'll do. So I put like... and the maple syrup's probably like 40 calories for a tablespoon, maybe 50 calories for a tablespoon. But it's like, that was my reaction, was like, I'm frustrated. I need to go for something that will make me feel good. Yeah. And I'm not saying... I mean, I guess that's better than a pint of Ben & Jerry's. For me, but
and it's better than a pint of fucking Tito's, so you know.
Exactly. So I guess I made a better bad choice. I guess it's not really a bad choice. It was just sort of like being aware of that behavior where it's like, I want ice cream, so I'm gonna make a fucking chocolate milkshake the best way that I know how. That's under 200
But that's
calories.
also like people do that all the time but you're talking about the motivation behind it. You're not like, oh, I want something sweet because that'd be nice. You're like, I want something sweet to distract myself from being frustrated having to record this fucking podcast again. Yeah.
And it's, it. So that's the connection I try to make. So I still made the chocolate milkshake. I enjoyed the chocolate milkshake. Good. But then it was like, you texted me and you said, I'm ready. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready. I got a chocolate milkshake. I was like, give me 5
Yeah,
minutes.
no,
And, like,
please eat the chocolate. That was fine. I just want to let you know I was. But it's the coping mechanism.
Right.
Is doing something to make yourself feel better. To like you're soothing. It's a soothing mechanism. Just like I mean I don't gotta mention it, but just like fucking whiskey, it's a soothing mechanism. You know. Yeah, because it's an outward influence. We're not using the thing inside of us to soothe us now. We're taking something outside and putting it inside to make us feel better, which is okay sometimes. Just don't fucking do it with cocaine and whiskey. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like,
not if
yeah.
that's a problem for you. And I mean, I
yeah, if it's not a problem, then by all means, dude, it's New Year's Eve. Go ahead, you know.
and
Like,
if you have found a way to use cocaine and whiskey in a healthy fashion, I would love to hear about it. But
yeah, we want to read your newsletter.
I haven't heard that story yet.
No, neither have I.
Where someone says I have integrated whiskey and cocaine into my program and I feel great.
I feel great. I'm the mayor or whatever. Yeah.
I'm the mayor. I think I'm the mayor.
It's just a guy in his underwear in front of the Circle K, like I'm the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
But the other thing we talk about, alcoholics, and we, a lot of what we do is we're sharing stories. And I heard this thing, and I want to remind you because I want you to tell me the story about the hole in the ground again when we get to this. But
Okay.
I heard this thing, and the guy just said he said feel, felt, found, and that's our second F for today, or
Right.
maybe our third F so far. But feel, felt, found, and he was saying that when you're trying to relate to somebody or you're talking to somebody about recovery, you say, I know how you feel. I felt that way too. And this is what I've found to feel better. And that kind of blew me away just because, well, I mean, I like alliteration too, but it sounded cool and it made sense. And I was like, wow, that's really great. That's really awesome. And so we talked about this before. Well, we recorded a whole podcast about an hour ago, but one of the things that I found in early recovery is I got really excited, right? I got really excited, wanted to share it with people, and I was like, people, everybody needs this. Everybody needs this program in their life. And that sounds crazy to me now because it's like you can't go around like just spreading the word. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to talk to that guy.
No, because then you're just evangelizing, dude, Yeah.
And so the thing that I do now, because I still have a couple of friends that unfortunately are not doing the best and, could use some help, but they're not going to want help until they want help, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way that it works. And so I go I wait for those moments when I'm talking to them and something comes up that's a problem for them that maybe is related around alcohol or, money and alcohol or whatever it is. And, something. And so I say, oh yeah, I know how you feel. I used to feel that way too. That's how I felt. I don't feel that way anymore. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I go to these little meetings.
Yeah. See, but I can't really
No one can
say
see
that.
my face when
Yeah,
I said
know.
it, but yeah.
Go to these little meetings behind the church.
Behind the church. It's just in my car.
Yeah, you want to go for a drive? And we'll just go sit in the car and talk. And so
Just talk, listen. Yeah.
And it's not that creepy. It's that's where the fucking magic
No.
happens, right, Jerry?
Right. That is where the magic happens in its own weird way. Yeah.
And so, but the thing that I can't say is hey, I found a solution. Because people aren't interested in a solution until they're ready to hear it. And
they don't want to buy your fucking Amway, dude.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And they feel like you're selling them Amway. And if you're a younger viewer, Amway was a pyramid scheme, just so you know.
Yeah, it's still around, I think.
Yeah, it still is a pyramid scheme.
Yes. So, but I just love that idea about connection. I mean, that's what I need to do when I want to talk to somebody about it is find some common ground.
Yeah.
You and I have a lot of shared experiences drinking and otherwise and sober. And it's really easy to be able to say, hey man, this thing happened, or I'm not really excited about this, or hey, what do you think about this? And we can connect really easily.
Right.
I think that And I don't know if you have a lot of experience. You have people come up to you and ask you, and people hit you up on Instagram and ask you about
Yeah.
like, hey, how'd you get sober? And
Right.
what do you tell them? Like when
I
they like,
just
hey,
tell. Well, I see. It's weird, right? Because I don't have the. I do. I guess I do have the moment where I'm like, hey, that way you're feeling right now. I have felt like that. I don't really express that much when people come to me asking me what worked for me because they're already. Do you know what I mean? They already. I guess they already have that sense that I've felt the way they felt. Maybe I'm not sure, but I mean, I do relate in a sense to people, and I don't get hit up that much. But I always tell them what worked for me, and that's here's this program I go to a 12-step program, and it's been super fucking helpful to me. And if you want to check it out, you should check it out. Just go in there and listen. You don't have to do anything. Nobody's going to make you do anything because, I mean, I know we're supposed to be 11th traditioning this shit, but like the rooms are scary at first, and I know we're not supposed to flippantly discuss it in such way, to be representative because I'm not representative of it.
no,
But at first, when you're first getting sober, dude, those rooms are fucking scary because you don't know what they're gonna do. If they're gonna try to sell you something or cart you all off in a van to jail, or
they're not going to do
make
either
you go
of those
to,
things.
no, they're not gonna do any of that shit. Usually, it's just a bunch of people sitting around a room talking, and then you get this whole jaded version of it where it's like, oh, all they do is complain and fucking sit around and commiserate and shit. And I'm like, you gotta really listen though, because you're learning shit. If you listen, you learn. That within the complaints, even within the woo-wooest, craziest motherfucker crying about his life, there's a jewel in there to be found somewhere, dude. Some relatable thing or some, I don't know, man, just something. So what I guess I do is I always tell them what worked for me. If they come into the shop, I usually give them a big book and tell them, this is what worked for me. I read through this book. I feel like this is my instruction manual. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. I'm not going to judge you. I think you should take it, check it out. If you don't like it, just leave it on a bus bench somewhere. Someone else can take it, or bring it back to me. I'll give it to someone else if you don't want it. But this is what worked for me.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what'll work for you. I can't even tell you if you have a problem. And it's not like a weird Fight Club fucking Jedi mind trick. Like, I don't know what your bottom is. I don't know what your problems are. Like, I can't tell you what your problem is. Only you know. Only you can, like, look in your own mirror and go, well, fuck. This is not working. I keep hitting my head against this wall and I haven't busted through yet. So I don't know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So feel
Feel free.
No, feel free to hit me up though. I'll hit me up. I'll talk to anybody on Instagram. I mean, I'll get you where you need to get. There's certain things within I have boundaries, but I'm cool though. I'm pretty cool. Yeah, I'm flexible.
I found that people, whether it be in the rooms or whatever, and even just people that have reached out to me, like everyone is going through shit just like I am.
Right.
So these people who are even the most excited to see me that I don't know, and it is as scary as it might be that there's a group full of people who are sitting around laughing at 7:30 in the morning and talking about fucking car wrecks and failed relationships and shit, and it's like these people are struggling just like I am, and so like if there's something that I can do to help, and that's what I've found is that one of the best medicine is go out there, and if I can help somebody else, if I can be of some kind of service to somebody, then I feel way better. That like if I can just make somebody's day or say something and be like, yeah, what you said was really good, or if something's on my mind and I can share it, and then you never know, like you said, you listen.
Right.
And
Right.
that's been huge.
Well, and we were talking about this the very first time we recorded
Yes.
in our little pre-talk, but like I was talking about how like the program isn't infallible. The program's fallible and people are fallible, and when you go into those rooms or you go around those people you can relate to or try to share with those people or be around those people, like they're all at varying degrees of recovery, and they're all in varying degrees of their sickness, and some of those people seem the most recovered are actually in the depths of their sickness. Like it's all different for everybody, and I think you just get a different thing from everybody each time. Yeah, so I think using that program has been incredibly helpful to me. I mean, I don't think I could have done it without it, honestly.
Sure. I mean, so is
Without its help, that's for sure. Yeah.
so is like I just don't I don't think that it needs it. So is electricity and indoor plumbing has been extremely helpful to my development as a human
Right.
being. Things.
Right.
So it's and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but I don't know. But yeah, just finding relatable moments with people is huge, and so that I just wanted to share that little thing about the felt and
Right.
and found.
It's a great way of reassuring yourself that you're not alone. You're not isolated, because I've said this, I say it all the time, but alcoholism is a very isolating disease.
Yeah.
It just puts you alone with your thoughts and your track, your little train track. You walk around in circles. So,
But
if you can find someone else who knows that track, dude, they'll tell you.
And on that note, I was hoping you could share the paraphrased parable about the man who fell in the hole.
Yeah. Sorry, I had juice and green in my tooth. So what is it? It's I found it online, but I'm just gonna paraphrase it again. It was like this chronic relapsing alcoholic, right? He falls into a hole and he can't get out of the hole, and so like his family comes by and they like, he's like, they're like, yo, you can't stay in that hole, you got everything to live for, we fucking love you, here's a ladder. And they throw down a ladder and like it just fucking falls apart, like he just can't get out with the ladder, right? And then this doctor walks by and he's like, oh man, I don't know if I can get you out of the hole, but I can at least give you some pills to help you not think about being in the hole. So he throws all these pills down there, and the fucking drunk eats all the pills, and then they're all gone, and the drunk remembers he's in a hole. And then like a religious dude, like a priest, walks by and is like, no, God will help you, God will help you get out of the hole, and religion and shit. And so he throws all this religion down there, and that shit ain't gonna work. It didn't work either. And then finally, like a fucking recovered alcoholic walks by and sees this dude in the hole, and he's like, just hops right into the hole with him. And the first drunk is like, what the fuck, now we're both in this hole. And the recovered guy's like, yeah, but I've been out of it, so I know the way out. And then it's like, bam, right? Book shut. Like everybody's like, thanks for that fucking issue of Grapevine, Yeah. Because I don't know if you've read the Grapevines, but I've read a bunch of them. I love them.
Yeah.
I think they're cute. They're cute, man. There's a 65-year-old lady in Iowa telling you this fucking story right here.
Yeah.
And you're like, hell yeah.
It's really,
hell yeah, Sally.
It's really sweet, and it's
Sarah
really
or whatever.
like I got to get in the hole, and thank God.
You got so right, feel felt, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody got in my hole. And I
Yeah. Was that me?
No, that was me. I
don't want to get in your hole.
No, I'm
hole.
just saying. I'm glad that somebody jumped in to show me the way out, right?
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm just got to I can't help it.
Got to pay the troll toll.
Yes. So yeah, I love that story, and
yeah, I'll text it to you.
Yeah,
the full one, so you can read all the.
For those of you who don't know, the Grapevine is like it's like a 12-step Reader's Digest kind of.
It's like a Reader's Digest for the program that John and I are in.
Yeah. So.
And I love it because it's always like a mother of four found joy in whatever, not getting day drunk off of wine anymore, and working the program.
There's all these really sincere and sweet stories, and
very much.
There's some dark stuff too, but I think that
we're drunks.
It
gets a little dark in here.
Yes. So, and also, so the big one and the big F and the big F, but the one that I was struggling with this week is family. And the thing with me, and we talked about this, is I have a lot of anxiety around my family. As a kid, I was forced to grow up very fast. Alcoholic father. My mother wasn't always there because she lived in a different state, and there was a lot of manipulation and control issues using us kids. My father using us kids and kind of like removing us from her in a lot of ways. And so I grew up fast, and I was a caretaker. I was a caretaker to my brother, my little brother. I was a caretaker to my father. In a lot of ways, I was a caretaker to my mother, and my mother's in the midst of some serious transition right now. and my brother is in flux, but he's feeling better, and so I'm going down to visit them, and it's a 4-hour drive, and so I'm like, oh, I don't want to go on the drive, and I've just been really stressed out and anxious because there's all this sort of like swirling sort of stress and different things going on, and I'm just like, oh man, what's it going to be like? And the idea that me trying to or wanting to control things and sort of organize it and make sure that wanting to be this sort of caretaker and even like cruise director for the two days that I'm going to be gone, 2 days, 2.5 days, right? Is that I want to organize things in such a way that I can keep everybody at a distance that doesn't affect me. And
Right.
and so in my mind, I feel like I'm taking care of my family. I feel like I'm organizing things. I feel like I'm doing all this, but ultimately, it is a selfish way for me to protect myself from having to deal with my feelings.
Right.
Not even with other people, right? With my feelings towards these other people who are my family. And
Right.
that's selfish and that's not honest. It's not honest with them. It's not honest with myself. And to be able to say, we talk about boundaries a lot and how important it is to
Right.
have boundaries. And maybe if I was honest and just shared my boundaries with my family, I wouldn't have developed the anxiety that I have. And what did you say before? That like their only crime is that they
They depend on
they
you.
depend on you,
Which still makes me laugh though, because it's so simple. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and this is in your case in particular. I mean, we can't account for some people who just have truly garbage
Mm-hmm.
ass families. There's some garbage ass human beings
Yeah.
out there, and I'm really sorry for you. That's fucking sucks.
More
But
important reason.
in your
yeah.
case, it's just like they're just depending on you. And from what I'm hearing, they're like depending on you for a lot. They're like, oh, John is dependable now. Like, we can depend on John now. He's not a fucking shit show on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, John's like stable now. Like, and he seems to have his shit together. His shirt's tucked in. His fucking, his shoelaces are tied. You know what I'm saying? He's not tripping anymore. So,
Yeah. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing.
No.
I just need to be clear with myself about what I want to be depended on for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Right.
what level do I want to like prop people up, or what am I available for? What do I have a capacity
Right.
for? Do you
Right.
want to talk? Sure, we can talk. Do you got money? No, I ain't got no money for you. Can I
Right.
stay at your house? Absolutely not.
Right.
Do you need some help putting a couch in the back of the truck? Sure, and so you it's important to have those boundaries. Otherwise, people will continue to use and manipulate their way into your life, and
Right.
it just, if it doesn't feel good, I don't want to do it. So
Right.
so that's something that I'm coming to terms with, and it's like, well, just go down there and have a good time and just let be. Whatever happens.
That's all you can really do, man.
And you've said it before, one of your favorite things is acceptance. Like, if something's not going my way, the best thing I can do is just accept the way that it's going.
Right.
As impossible as that might sound to some. And you relate? Do you talk about the going shopping with?
All right.
with,
See,
yeah.
man, we had some great stories in this last one, right? But no, yeah, they were all right stories. We just mildly killed it. But so I went school shopping with my wife and my kid, and I don't like going school shopping because it's there's a lot of moving parts there, right? My wife is she thinks about things. Like, she considers all her options. That's what I was saying. It was, and the relatability is that, like, when you and I need something from a store, and I don't think it's necessarily a gendered thing. It's just, I know that you're a lot like me because I've been clothes shopping with you, actually. When we need something, we think, okay, I need fucking undershirts and sock garters. You know what I'm saying? So you go to the store and you go and get the undershirts that are your size, and you get the sock garters that are your size, and you're out. Whereas if my wife on her end, she wants to consider options and see what's on clearance and see what it is in 4 different colors. And do you know what I'm saying? So I tend to get really impatient, you know? And before that, with the real estate thing, she had to stop by a client's house to an open house she was working on to drop off an item. And then she ended up stuck in there for like, fuck, dude, like half an hour. So Olive and I are just sitting in the car for like half an hour with the air conditioner going, playing like Wars of Friends or something. So she finally comes out and gets in the car, and I'm like a little already irritated because I was like, you said it'd be 10 minutes, and it was like fucking 30, 35 minutes, you know? And she says, oh, well, the owner was there, and she was needed to be reassured of a few things, and she needed to talk to me about a few things. I had to talk her down, you know? So I don't know, man. It wasn't even acceptance at that point. It was more like relatability, like, oh, I get it. You had to work. Okay, cool. I'm not going to fucking be a dick about that's not worth it, you know? And so we go to the mall. And like I told you, she just takes her time. And typically I would get really fucking frustrated because I'm like, you are killing my life. Like, you're taking an hour, a minute of my life away each time you're trying to figure out whether or not you want, like, fucking sparkly pants or sparkly shoes, you know, or whatever it is. But what I did was I just started mall walking, doing mall laps, right? And we were joking about this earlier because it's like an old lady thing, right? Like mall walking.
You know, you get the stable weather, you know. Nice flat
stable
service.
Weather, and it always changes, right? There's always going to be a different weirdo out in front of Spencer's Gifts, you know? You walk by and like, what's up, Hot Topic? Because I brought up Hot Topic last time, but that ended up kind of sounding creepy, and I didn't mean for it to sound creepy. But we don't got to really revisit that. Walk by the Zoomies, it's like, bam, y'all barely sell skateboard shit anymore, you know? Like, just, and I kept doing laps trying to get my steps, and I'd go back into the store Justice, which we had laughed about because I said I didn't want to stand in Justice.
With my daughter and my wife, and I just thought that sounded like some sort of epic moment. I'm standing in justice, and I was like, what does that mean? And
it's just a store of unicorns on shirts and little like glittery cheeseburgers and shit. Yeah, so like I just keep going back in there and checking in on them every time I do a lap. And the Valley River Center here in Eugene, the mall is tiny, dude. Like you can do a lap in fucking 2 minutes. You know, it's not that big of a deal, but it just was a coping mechanism, right? So to me, like, I like working out. Like, I'm a lot like you in that I like to movement in my workout. I like lifting weights and stuff, but my favorite workouts are the walks.
Yeah.
And I'll partially run, but I like walking because I love the movement, right? And I'm not a silent walker. Like, I listen to a podcast or I'll listen to music if I want to run.
Me too.
But I love the movement, the forward movement, and it's almost a soothing thing to me now. So it's part of my acceptance. It's this soothing thing, right? So moving forward, it's just walking through while they're doing their shit. Maybe going to JCPenney's and looking at something coming out. And so on the way home, my wife was like, damn, dude, that went really well. Like, we didn't fight. We're not driving home with a black cloud over your head. Like, you didn't you didn't get mad. You weren't pissed off, you know? And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And she's like, yeah, you must be using your tools, man. Like, you're using your tools. And that's not to say that every time we go to the mall we get into an argument or I get pissed off or we drive home with a black cloud. I'd say it was more like 85% of the time. So I'm getting better.
Yeah.
You know? But usually I just don't go. I'm like, well, I'll just hang out here because I just don't really feel like feeling impatient, you know, like wanting to move on to the next thing while you take your time. It's just much easier if you do it by yourself. And it's no big loss of hers anyway. Because Megan's real independent, dude. She'll just do shit on her own. She's one of those ones that's, when we get older, she'll be like, let's take separate vacations.
Right?
We do that already. Yeah, my vacation is they leave and I play video games and watch movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they go to Arizona and I'm like, go for it. Like, have fun, see your family, like, enjoy your life.
Well, that's great because, you know, this goes back to you were like, so my boundary is I'm not going to stand in this clothing store with you, but
and fucking wait, yeah.
But your reaction doesn't have to be I'm going to be angry, frustrated, and pissed off. It's like, okay, and obviously you don't care that I'm not here or that I'm here. I'm going to leave. And
right, you don't need me.
You don't need me, and they're fine with that. It's not like, it wouldn't be like, where are you going? You can't be with us. You can't stay with us. Like, that's not important.
She's not like that at all. Yeah, she's like, go, motherfucker.
Go so that we can do the thing we want to do.
Right.
So, I mean, that's you setting those boundaries that I'm going to come with you and I'm going to enjoy it, but when it becomes too much for me, I'm going to go. I'm just going to leave. And
Right.
I mean, I've got a cell phone in my pocket. If you need me, you can find me. I'm not that far away. And I'm just going to go
Right.
get my steps in, or, go get an Orange Julius or whatever it is that you feel
Right.
like doing. A Wetzel's pretzel. Do they still do those things? Is it just...
They had 2 fucking Wetzel's pretzels in that mall, but no Orange Julius. What is that? That's some communism right there.
Is that
Dude.
communism or is that a monopoly?
No,
That...
I'm okay with communists, actually. They're all right, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the communist. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, I guess it is a monopoly.
I don't know.
It depends on the communist. Yeah, I don't even want to.
We can...
Too many Wetzel's pretzels, not enough Orange Julius. You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
man, that's... When do we want it? Now.
Now.
So I think I think that's an awesome example of you, like your wife said, just using the tools that you got, and you're like, this is the whole point of learning these things, is that when we get into these crunch times, when we get into these moments that tend to trigger us into bad behavior, into
Right.
building up resentments toward people that don't even know we have them, just as an excuse to go drink. Right? Because, I mean...
Or just, or even just relapse into alcoholic thinking. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I always say the resentment always leads to a drink, but there's always the drinking thinking beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
like that alcoholic way of thinking where it is all resentments. And and then eventually I believe it leads there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do my best to check myself as much as I can, and to really sort of dig down. And we talked about this before too, where you really have to, I should say, I need to figure out what my part in it is. So if I'm feeling
Right.
resentful, if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm feeling angry, what is my part? If I'm frustrated and I want to just say fuck it because the podcast didn't record correctly, I'm like, what was my part? Well, John, did you take all the steps beforehand? Did you close all the windows?
All your windows? Did you shut
No.
that YouTube, buddy?
No, I didn't. I just had shit running because I was, that was careless on my part. Had I not been careless earlier, Jerry, I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and I always appreciate talking to you. But
Yeah, it's nice.
but,
We did a double up tonight,
but it would be, but the other conversation is unsalvageable for the audio. But so that was my part in it, is not handling my business, and that's just a metaphor for my recovery. Is like,
Right.
are you doing the work? Are you handling the business so that when the moment comes that you need to use those tools, when I need to have my recovery strong, when I'm going to go and visit my family and I'm going to practice patience, I'm going to practice acceptance, and I'm just going to let things go. And the truth is, all the anxiety is in my head. All of the stress is in my head.
Right.
Like, these people are just excited to see me and looking to give me a hug and maybe go, I don't know, eat a bowl of noodles, and maybe I'll get to fly a kite on the beach with my nephew.
Shit, that sounds great, dude.
So
That really does, yeah.
so maybe and what is my part in that? Well, it's it's a lot of years of conditioned training from my father, among other people, about feeling that I have to take care of people. I don't have to do shit anymore.
Nope.
And
if you think about it, you've been conditioned longer than you've been trying to uncondition yourself. So
Right.
It takes time. Yeah.
So it's
I gotta be honest with you. I think we had to re-record this podcast so you could work through this a little bit more. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. That's my Dr. Drew moment for you right there. Don't get AIDS. Well, if you do, I'm sorry. Don't get gonorrhea.
if you
Dr.
do,
Drew.
Dr. Drew.
If you do, I'm sorry.
Dr. Drew. But yeah, I mean, you're right, because it's all in my fucking head. I've got my own place. I can go find a meeting down there if I need one.
Yeah.
Which
And
I might
plus,
do it
that's
anyway.
rad. I'd love to do some out-of-town meetings, man. I never get to, because I'm always just here.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love it. It's a trip to just wander in and be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?" Fucking
I should just go to some in Springfield over the bridge.
Yeah.
Which are way different. Yeah.
be like, "How you doing, Des Moines? you know.
Sup, Des Moines? It's me, your boy. You know me on Instagram is Soberosity. It's like Travelocity, but sober.
Silverosity. Is that one taken?
Sober.
Soberosity.
Soberosity. Yeah, it's
All
like
right.
Travelocity, but they find you all the AA meetings.
Mm-hmm. Soberosity.
Or all the 12-step meetings.
The A is for alcoholic
Correction.
app coming your way.
Right, there you go.
We'll just give them 5 stars, 1 stars, rate them all.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's true. I do need to work through this stuff, and I need to become a better son. I need to become a better brother. I mean, can't tell me that it's not necessary or reasonable, or that I don't have more work to do. Like, come on,
Right.
you know? So what does that mean? That means not only being a better person and being, you know, the more well-adjusted the person that people think they can depend on, but also setting boundaries with the people that I love and being open and honest, because all it's going to do is allow me more freedom to be who I want to be around them, rather than lying to them about why I do or don't want to do certain things.
Right.
You know,
Or trying to fix it, being preoccupied with trying to fix everything and
Yeah.
be in charge of everybody's emotions and be in charge of everyone's well-being. When they're adults, they should be in charge of their own shit. And if they can't, well,
I can't
they
help
gotta
them.
learn.
Yeah.
You can't help them. Exactly. Like, you gotta learn that shit, you know?
The only emotions I want to, you know, yeah, I mean, I struggle with being in control of my own, and not like I need to control it. And that's a whole nother conversation about men and emotions and feelings and all this kind of stuff. But
Man, I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to that podcast.
but it's the one thing that I've learned about that is that I have to work through it. I have to just live in it. I have to, you know, we say it all the time, trust the process. You're
dude.
right where you're supposed to be, Jerry.
Right.
But-
But I love it. I love what you just said.
But it's true.
Keep going and I'll tell you what I
No,
love.
but I have to sit in it. If I'm depressed, I have to sit in it. And what I know more now today than I did 4 years ago is that it's going to pass, and it's not the end of the world, and it's not forever. Because I know that too about the happy moments. I know that too about the joyous moments. It's not fucking forever. So really enjoy the joy and know that the sadness is going to pass. And I have to remind myself of that.
Yes. Yeah, you got to sit in it and let it pass.
And you like that?
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Yeah. I was going to say it's like shitting your pants on an airplane. You just got to sit
You just
in it.
got to
dude.
sit in it. Exactly.
Seatbelt light is on. You ain't going nowhere. You just got to sit in your mess. But that's a real bad analogy because it's gross.
Well,
So it's more like you just got to sit in the moment and just let it either pass or overtake you. And it just... Man, I mean, not to get too Alan Watts here. I think we talked about it last time. But it's all just... All of our lives is just us responding to stimuli that's happening right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why would you be concerned about what might or might not happen or be upset about what happened? I guess you could be upset about what happened because the brain is amazing with post-traumatic stress disorder. But man, but no, it is. It really is amazing the way the brain will focus on those things and just fuck with you in that way. But I mean, it's just sitting in it in the moment and knowing this is happening and it'll pass. It may take a long fucking time or it may be quick, but it'll pass, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how I got sober. Do you know what I mean? In those first, like, fucking month or two, I just had to let it pass. This will pass. This will pass. This will pass. This will pass,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
So that's my big one is learning to be an adult friend to the people in my family.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude, hang out with your little nephew, get some saltwater taffy, you'll be fine.
you know, you
4 pieces is like 180 calories.
exactly
so you'll be all
right. Make sure you go for a jog before that.
Right.
You know, you talk
Just
about
fly
it
that
now,
kite.
like that you are great friends with your parents these days.
Yeah, we get
And
along
that wasn't
really
always
well.
the case.
No, but I mean, those are like the adolescent years where everything was super turbulent, you know? And also, we were born real weird, right? Not weird. We were born in weird times, you know? Like, my sister and I are 3 years apart, and then my next 2 siblings are 9 and 12 years apart from me. So when Faith and I were born, my parents were fairly young and still in active alcoholism. So we were being raised with the tools they had, you know, and poor, very poor. We were raised very poor. My parents were 16, 17, and 18 respectively when I was born. They were kids. They weren't even out of fucking high school yet. My mom wasn't even out of high school, you know? So they were working with the tools they had and the money we had. And the same when my sister was born 3 years later. So my mom was 19 and my dad was 20, you know? And, my next set of siblings were born around the time my dad got sober and then my mom got sober. So they were born under really different circumstances. We got really different parents. And so I think, yeah, I held a lot of resentment growing up, but I also resented myself a lot too for what I did to them growing up, you know, because it was such a turbulent time.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man, I was more embarrassed and mad at myself by the way I acted. Because I was fucking crazy. I was a crazy fucking teenager, man. I had no way to rein it in. I had no coping mechanisms. I had no soothing skills. All I knew was like, fucking, yeah, act out. And then once I started getting drunk, then it was like, oh, here's my fucking security blanket. You know what I mean? It started calming down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now you can talk to your dad. You can joke with your mom.
I know. I feel it's weird rehashing through it since we already did it earlier. But yeah, we're homies. My mom listens to the podcast. You know, I mentioned.
Hey, Leanne.
Hey, Mom. Leanne.
Does she still got those weird dogs?
No, they're all dead, dude.
Oh, no.
But her
I'm
homies
sorry.
are the chickens now. It's all right. Dogs die.
Yeah.
You know, that's a Leanne quote, by the way.
That's all right. Dogs
Sorry,
die.
she loves them. She names them. They're like her children. She made sweaters for them and shit. Like they'd sleep in the bed, you know. Well, no, they slept around the bed. But I remember telling her, "I'm sorry, all your dogs died." And she goes, "That's what they do. They die."
They were Mexican hairless dogs, right? They're
Jolo Squintly. They're called Mexican hairless. They look like
they're fucking weird, but they
look weird, but they're real sweet, man, and real loyal. And now she's got chickens, so all the chickens have fucking names. She just told me a story about how it was so hot in Tucson the other day. She went out to feed the chickens, and one of them was just passed out, just unconscious. So she brought it inside, and when she brought it inside, it died. She was trying to, not to make the story sad, but she was trying to give a chicken CPR, like pushing on this chicken, and it died. She's like, it just got too hot and it died. I was like, well, what the fuck? She's like, we buried it. You know?
You didn't eat it? I mean, I would have.
No.
Oh.
No, meat probably gross, man. Dead chicken, dead hot chicken. I don't know, actually.
I thought you were going to tell me that it laid a hard-boiled egg or something.
Yeah, that's great. She'd love that joke. I hope she listens to this one. Did it lay a hard-boiled egg, Mom? You know? She's like, shut up, idiot. But yeah, so, you know, it's funny because they're both in recovery. My dad's been sober since like October 1989. My mom got sober, I think, in like the 90s, 95. I think right when I moved to Oregon, I think my mom got sober around that time. And it's just great being able to share this with them. You know, and it's fucked up too because like I had to fucking share the thing that made me relatable to my dad, or made me and my dad relate to each other. I want to rephrase that. The thing that I feel like made us get along better than anything was the fact that we both are shit show drunks. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is fucking crazy, but also I'm super fucking grateful for it. Like, I think eventually I would have become close to my father, but I think we have this common ground now where like we get it. Like I fucking get it now, dude. I never understood it before until until I sobered up and got into the program, and I was like, oh, I fucking get it. Holy shit, I'm so stupid, you know? Then my mom and I are so similar that I've always kind of got it with her, you know? I get it a little more now, though. Like, there's definitely some clarity there with my parents. But, nah, man, they're cool. I have my boundaries up pretty good with them, for the most part, you know?
Well, that's something I hear from you, and that's something that I feel in myself is just getting closer with my family, the further in recovery I get.
Well, yeah, and it gives you the power to be able to assert yourself as well. Because now you don't have to sit around making sure everybody's okay. You know, now you can make sure that you're okay first. Because you got to be okay to help out other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can't be a medic and be missing a fucking leg. You're no use.
Right. Well, I mean, how do you give CPR to a chicken, Jerry?
I guess you just kind of push on it. Like, I picture her, like, pushing, like doing actual human CPR, but just singing the "Staying Alive" song, like
Staying
alive,
Staying alive.
because that's the beats you're supposed to use when you're doing CPR. It's supposed to be to the rhythm of "Staying Alive," is your chest compressions. But you're supposed to crack people, like crack their fucking ribs and shit. So she must have smashed the chicken, maybe, or I don't think she did though. I think she just put ice cubes on it and maybe I don't know.
Try
what
to
the fuck
cool
she
it
did.
off.
I'm gonna ask her.
I need to
I'll
know.
ask her. I will. I'll ask her.
Well, I'm looking forward to the chicken story, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right.
Just remind me next time I talk to her. Be like, "Did you do CP?" She'll be like, "No, fool. I just put them inside." That's all she'll probably say.
All right. Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at aisforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.